Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our visitors, our guests. Especially good morning as well to those following us on social media, on our social media platforms, and also on Lumen TV. I welcome all of us to this very important press conference where we get to learn something about what the Dicastery of promoting human integral development is doing, but also the Dicastery for communications, as well as the Hilton Foundation. So I don't want to take much of the time because it's not about me, but just to mention that here with me I have three very important organizations, two Dicasteries from the Vatican and also the Hilton Foundation. They'll tell us something about what they do, what they are doing, whom they are collaborating with, and also the possible collaboration with the Catholic media in Zambia. I'm not going to introduce their names. I'll leave that to themselves. Sister here will begin. She's going to introduce herself, and then she'll get into a discourse. But also from the Dicastery Communications, we're going to get to learn what the Dicastery is doing and their mission in Zambia. And of course, we'll have to also learn something about Hilton Foundation and also what they are doing in Zambia with the sisters. The sisters here in Zambia will also probably be given something, a minute or so, to say something about their collaboration with the Hilton Foundation. So without much ado, let me reduce myself, let me decrease myself so that I leave the floor to our guests so that they share with us what exactly they are doing, their mission in Zambia, and everything else that we may want to learn about them. So having said that, I now leave the microphone to Sister, who can lead us into the discourse, and then others will speak as well.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I'm Sister Alessandra. I'm the Secretary of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development at the Vatican, and I'm very happy to be here in LUSAKA. As Dicastery, the name is a long name, Promoting Integral Human Development. What does this mean? This Dicastery was created in 2016 by Pope Francis with the aim of helping all the local churches and the people of God to help to remove obstacles for integral human development, specifically on issues, on topics related to migration, ecology, economy, health, security, food security, peace, disarmament, human rights, and so on. So it is a great range of issues, and we are not doing everything by ourselves and alone. For this reason, I'm very happy to be here, which is our way of working, of dealing with these issues. We feel that our aim is to accompany bishops, all people who collaborate with bishops and local churches and religious institutes to help their people to remove these obstacles. And so the first duty for us, the first task is to listen, be in contact. We need to understand what are the joys and sorrows of the people, different populations, different countries, different cities. And in trying to understand that, to share, we can transform. This is the help we can give to transform the cries into issues. There is a problem, there is a cry for safety, there is a problem for agriculture, and we should understand which is the related issues. perhaps is climate change. I know that here sometimes you are struggling because at the end of October it's not starting to rain anymore as it was before, and we understand that there is a climate change issues, but climate change is related also to migration, is related to different other problems, and it has to do, for example, with lifestyles, energy production, and something else. And so our task is to help to transform this cry, oh, there is no rain, what can we do, into issues and practical way, and we say pastoral guidelines for dealing with these issues. Our main products are pastoral guidelines for people who, in charge of accompanying the people of God. And so this is the way in which we are working, and we have three main sections inside our dicastery. The first is listening and dialogue, to listen and to establish connections and networks with local churches. And then the second is research and reflection around all the topics I mentioned: migration, ecology, economy, health, security, peace, human rights, and so on. And then the third section is the communication and giving back, communication and restitution, because we feel that when we hear, we listen to something, we elaborate something, what we elaborate with the help of people living in different countries should go back to that people. And so when I see that one of the questions is how we can strengthen our collaboration, sometimes to share best practices, what is going on. Yesterday I had a meeting, for example, with people working, with sisters and priests working for the Bishop Conference, Zambia Bishop Conference. And they were shared, for example, best practices on migration, on agroecology. So if there is something that here is working, it's good for us to know, because perhaps there is someone else in another part of the world who is seeking for advice. And if we can share, we can connect, we think that we can strengthen our response to all the problems and issues we are facing. So this is briefly our mission. We are here because of a gathering of mainly sisters, Catholic sisters from different African countries, but also from different parts of the world, for an amazing project which is trying to build networks and to help, but I won't say anything now because I let then Sister Jane, who is the head of this big project on Catholic sisters, to tell something. But now I give the floor to Dr. Paolo Ruffini, who he is the prefect of the Dicastery for Communication.
Thank you, Sister Alessandra. And first of all, let me take some words from the last ones of Sister Alessandra. The reason why we are here. I'm the head of the Dicastery for Communication of the Holy See, but I am here because of this convening of organized by Hilton Foundation, a convening of sisters that are working in many fields and in communication too. And important is the word sharing that Sister Alessandra just used. This convening, we thanks the Hilton Foundation for having organized the convening and organizing the project, is based on sharing. It's based on helping, connecting sisters and people from all around the world in acting for the good. Concerning communication, and so thank you to Sister Jane for this. I'm very happy to be here. And concerning the work of the Dicastery of Communication was established by Pope Francis 9 years ago. And it was established to unify anything that is connected with communication in the Holy See. But it was meant to build a system that is a service of the whole church all around the world. It's not a service just of the Roman Curia, but it's the service the Pope as the servants of the church. And is meant to build an ecosystem of communication connected with any means of communication in the world, and primarily with the Catholic system of communication, like the one we are here now, in sharing the good news and in sharing a Catholic interpretation of anything is happening in the world. Like Sister Alessandra just said, how we can understand what's going on climate change, how we can understand what's going on wars, how can we understand on economic crisis and so on, if we don't have a perspective. And the Christian perspective, and our understanding is that even when we have to narrate something that is bad, we have to give it a dynamism of good. We have to share the good that is possible, and we have to connect people that is acting for the good. This is what communication is. Communication is not just giving information. Communication is building a network. Communication is acting. Communication is, as Sister Alessandra said, listening and saying. And listening and saying is something we have to do continuously. We don't just listen and then say, but we have listen, say, and then listen again and say. And this is what the Roman Curia is trying to do, and we can only do together with people of goodwill all around the world. And so we have to connect all the communicators, and if you think about how many Catholic communicators are around the world, sisters, priests, religious lady, on secular media, on Catholic media, we understand how powerful can be the communication of good we can do. And this is what the Dicastery would build, and this is committed to do, to weave a communion among communicators, to bring through communication a communion in the world, to try to build through communication the awareness of what we should do and act concretely in the world. Not just saying, not just word, not just the delivery of information, but connecting. This is communication. And so thank you, Sister Jen, because the reason we are here is because you invited us, and this is a step so important for the Roman Curia and for each one of us. Thank you.
So I am Sister Jane Wakahio. I am a member of the Little Sisters of St. Francis, based in Kenya, but I live in Los Angeles, California. I work for the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation as the Associate Vice President for Programs Operations and also head of the Catholic Sisters Initiative. What is the Hilton Foundation? Conrad N. Hilton Foundation was started in 1946 by an entrepreneur, Mr. Conrad Hilton, who became very successful in entrepreneurship, establishing Hilton hotels globally. He was also a very strong and profound Catholic, and faith guided every of his actions. Mr. Hilton started the foundation with a mission to alleviate human suffering, and our mission is anchored in the gospel values. I would say, love one another, for that is the whole law. Our fellow men and women deserve to be loved, never to be left to wander alone in poverty and darkness. So in our work of alleviating human suffering, we have so many partners across the globe, and we have several initiatives. Today, I will talk about Catholic Sisters Initiative, and I'm so excited to be here in Zambia, where we have several partners like Caritas Zambia, the Zambia Association of Women Religious. We have several congregations we are working with. We have Catholic Relief Services, and we have members from the dicasteries at the Vatican, because also we found various dicasteries there. Our work focuses on 4 broad areas. The first big bucket of our work is supporting Catholic sisters to become a global sisterhood at local, national, and global levels. And we want them to continue exhibiting their prophetic witness, working with those in the margins. We also support Catholic sisters and those other actors in the spaces where the Catholic sisters are working to transform the lives of children, youth, and families living in conditions of disadvantage. For the Catholic sisters, we support education, formation, and care. They need to be strong internally, spiritually, and anchored in their consecrated life and their formation so that they can go out and give and support those who are in the peripheries. Catholic sisters are evangelizers, not just by word, but through action. So we support the Livelihood and Career Pathways program, where we are supporting youth at the margins through the work of Catholic sisters. We support healthcare facilities. We support anti-human trafficking movement, so that to raise awareness, to prevent, but also to remove the vulnerabilities that youth are experiencing because of poverty. That's why we are giving them skills, so that then they can be able to live independent life and to support their communities. So we are working with both the Dicastery of promoting integral human development, and also Dicastery of communication on 2 important projects. One is about Catholic sisters as communicators, which is called a Pentecost Project, and the other one is about Catholic sisters who are working on issues of migration, issues that are people security, issues of peace, like Sister Alessandra explained. So as a foundation today, we are gathered for 2.5 days here in LUSAKA with 118 partners from Europe and from Africa, and also from India, and also United States. We are here to dialogue on a shared vision in the spirit of synodality. What is the impact? What are we learning from the work we are investing in? And how can we collaborate in order to continue impacting the communities where the sisters are serving, and where the dicasteries are also are working with the sisters in those local communities. So we have been learning and having different presenters, but also listening to the work the sisters are doing. What are the challenges they're experiencing? What are the opportunities? How can we collaborate better and work together in impacting the communities? But also the learnings we obtain, we can also go back and reflect together and redesign program. So I am so very delighted to continue the partnership. We have continued to work together because no one organization has capability of accomplishing the goals on human development. We need communication as evangelizers to tell those good stories and the models that are working. We need the work of the Dicastery of promoting integral human development to share with us what is Pope asking of us as members of the church, and what do we need to do in the ecosystem where we are serving. Pope Francis is inviting us to work together in the spirit of synodality. So this is all about we are discussing in this convening, with all those 118 partners represented, so that the mission of the church, the mission of Christ, can move forward. I will now invite two of the projects that we're going to discuss today, of the work that we have funded, Natasha to speak on Pentecost Project, and Sister Chris to speak on the Catholic Sisters Project.
Thank you, Sister Jane. So my name is Natasha Govekar, and I am the program manager of this Pentecost project that we are running thanks to the support of the Hilton Foundation. The project is about, first of all, telling all of those mighty works done through the sisters. And this is what we can do through Vatican media, thanks also to our system of so many languages. So every week we actually publish a story about sometimes very hidden work done by sisters to elevate the sufferance and to be attentive to those marginalized. So every week we have in 10 languages a so-called story of a sisters project. And now is, I think, already 85 or something of those stories from all around the world, which are not only bringing attention to those particular case, but as we were telling before, also inspiring maybe similar solution to another completely different part of the globe. But this is just one part. The other part is giving the opportunity to sisters to be trained in communication by coming into the Dicastery and being our interns for 3 months of, for example, English section or even English for Africa section at Vatican Radio and Vatican News, or participate to an online course. This year we have more than 80 participants, and they are focusing especially on communication through social media, more largely also in the digital environment, but really through social media. And then there is also a third part that we are offering in order to establish this communication network through being subscribers for free to Osservatore Romano, which is the newspaper of the Vatican, which has several editions, even in English, weekly edition. We are offering this. So this is briefly the description of the Pentecost project.
Okay, I'm Sister Christy, working in the Dicastery for promoting integral human development. I feel that God's dream is getting fulfilled as we are united for God's kingdom. So different dicasteries, Hilton Foundation, different people are united in order to bring the kingdom of God, to bring out the human development, integral human development. So I'm in charge of Catholic Sisters Project, funded by Hilton Foundation, thanks to the Hilton Foundation. And this project is aiming to enhance the involvement of the sisters in the migrant ministry. So we collect the data of the sisters who are involved in the ministry all over the world, especially Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And we have more than 500 sisters involved in this network. And we empower the sisters through diploma course and webinars. There are so many webinars monthly we organize for the sisters with different themes, with the opportunities for them to share and listen to each other and to build network among them so that they get more empowered and they get knowledge how to do the ministry with more efficiency and effectiveness. And we have media kits for the World Day of Migrants and Refugees. So sisters are producing these kits in order to have more meaningful celebration on the day. So sisters get empowered in all these levels. And also we have funded the Catholic, for the sisters who are doing the migrant ministry. So almost 30 sisters who are helped by this project. So they initiate the migrant ministry in different parts of the world. So this migrant ministry is enhanced through this project, and they got more interest in this ministry, which is the need of the hour. So I'm very happy that we are in Zambia, and in Zambia also people are helped by this project. Sister Kayola is here, who is running a project funded by this project. So over to you, Sister.
Thank you very much. Sister Kayola Lesa. I'm a religious sister of charity, and I work here in Zambia. I work for Talita Kum Zambia, popularly known as TACOZA. Now, TACOZA has 2 areas of focus supported by the previous speakers, such Jane from the Hilton Foundation, but also the Dicastery for promoting integral human development. So I'll begin with Hilton Foundation support to us on the issue of human trafficking. We built this network 2 years ago, and our focus areas have been raising awareness, understanding that, you know, the issue of human trafficking has been here in Zambia like any other place, but in terms of appreciating that this happens in Zambia, it's very difficult for the public. So we are trying to bring the issue into public space. So we profile both the issue but also the network, a network of sisters. Although it's sister-led, we also invite other religious, you know, male congregations or institutions that are committed to the work of human trafficking. So we commit to raising awareness. The people that we talk to through our, you know, Talita Kum teams in all dioceses, and also the youth ambassadors, we target 30,000, but for the past 2 years from our experience, we've actually reached beyond that because of the commitment of the sisters and also our stakeholders that are just interested in, you know, ensuring that the message goes out, because we believe as Takuza that, you know, information itself is a protection tool. So a person who knows about human trafficking might think twice about, you know, when a chance comes, that seems very good, they might think about it or contact us. And also part of what, you know, the campaign has done is we are receiving people who've been victimized, people who've been exploited through human trafficking, especially the Zambians, you know, young ladies between 20 and 30 who are being trafficked to the Middle East, Oman, Pakistan, and other places. So we are seeing the fruits through that. But apart from awareness raising, we also train the police, immigration, and also the magistrates. We work very closely with the Ministry for Home Affairs and Internal Security, the Department of Human Trafficking Department, so that, you know, as people are frontliners, they know, speaking to victims, they know what the traffickers, you know, methods that traffickers use, and also which are the hotspots which keep changing. So we like to work with them, and through that we've trained over 200 police officers, social workers. And why we focus on training of these is to build capacity so that they are able to identify. Because sometimes we've seen through, you know, media, maybe someone is talking about human trafficking when it's a case of human smuggling. As long as, you know, sometimes when people are found in containers, you know, containers packed with, you know, bags of maize or anything, says, oh, we found this group and it's human trafficking. And yet, you know, we have to listen to the case and say, is this a case of human trafficking or is it a case of human smuggling? Because that has implications for prosecution. So someone who may be a victim of human trafficking may be prosecuted for, you know, a crime that they didn't do. So we do that. But also beyond that, we've also focused on youth empowerment, especially the past 2 years. We've sponsored up to 170 youth, understanding that, you know, poverty or, you know, causes vulnerability to human trafficking. So it's when youth or any other person indeed looking for opportunities that they find themselves vulnerable to human trafficking. So we thought, you know, one of the ways to prevent human trafficking is to actually empower the youth. So we've had the youth trained in bricklaying, you know, agriculture, dressmaking, and, you know, it was quite enlightening. I mean, it was quite interesting when we went with an evaluator, especially to places where just about two months ago, we find that, you know, this youth now can build houses and is employed other people. And also that, you know, we see hope that such a person will think twice about, you know, migrating, looking for. It's not that we are asking people not to migrate, but at least we know that that vulnerability to human trafficking is lessened in many ways. And also we accompany trafficked persons that are referred to us. And, you know, as an advantage as sisters also, we try to accompany the spiritual sense of the word. But when it comes to when we see that someone has really been traumatized and they need special counseling, or we refer to a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, and thank God, you know, we have people who can offer such services for free within the Catholic Church. And I think, a lot of people have benefited from this with support from Hilton Foundation that have helped us to strengthen, the network of people working, but we are also connected to Talitacom Africa, as well as Talitacom International. So we work as a network of networks. Now coming back to, coming to the migration project, 2 years ago when we were commemorating the World Anti-Trafficking Day with different departments from government, we were introduced, we went to a correctional facility where we found 260 young Ethiopian men and boys who were in the correctional center and just seemed to have no hope. So we asked, who were these? They said, they were prohibited immigrants. So some of them would have had, all of them actually would have had administrative offenses. So they came in the country without papers, and their destination is South Africa. But because they can't pass this country without those papers, so we got concerned. And on reflection, we knew that if people come in irregularly, they are mostly actually, so vulnerable to human trafficking. So we got interested and we sought funding from the Dicastery for promoting integral human development, and we funded. So our focus has been going to correction centers in the eastern part of the country, because that's where we found, that category of people, but also within LUSAKA, because when they come from different parts of the country, they are brought in correctional centers. As you would appreciate, Zambia does not have detention centers. So, people will be put in correctional centers or called also prison formally. So we got interested, and our interest has been, okay, they could be called prohibited immigrants, but let's, as a church organization, let's go to talk to them and listen to their stories. It's a very tedious, piece of work, but we go there. We've formed a group of religious men and religious women working voluntarily. They go to the prisons here, especially, in Mwembeshi, to go and talk to the different people, to listen. Where was the person coming from? What motivated them? What do they want now that they are within this country? What do they want done? So after listening to them, we go to the immigration department to say, you have this, to someone would have actually saved their sentence. Maybe it was just, paying a fine like $100 or saving a sentence maybe 6 months. They are finished, but they cannot go, especially when it comes to people coming from countries that are not our exact neighbors like Ethiopia. So we find there are hundreds of them in there, but we still profile so that we can we can push government to maybe work with their governments to try and help people return where they should be. But one thing that we've done between December last year to about March 30th, we facilitated the return of about maybe 200 people to Congo, DR, as well as Malawi, because for them, what government does is you just put them on a bus, escorted by government officials, and we are also grateful to government. They actually gave us an officer that we work with in that work. So that's what we are doing, and I hope as listeners also, you take a step in addressing issues of migration, because we also need people to interpret. For example, we don't understand generally in Zambia the language is spoken in Ethiopia. So we've also had to ask the religious people who are here to help. So you find that maybe there's just one brother who's from Ethiopia, and when we go, there are hundreds of people wanting to be listened to, but that's not practically possible. So that's what we are doing with the support of the Dicastery and with the support of the Hilton Foundation. And my message really would be, the Pope is always calling us to, in relationship to migrants and refugees, calling us to welcome them, welcoming them, protecting, also promoting, as well as integrating them, because some people just need a place where they'll be safe. So perhaps that's what I would like to communicate. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you very much for everything that has been shared. Indeed, we can already see that the spirit of synodality is taking root, because what we've heard is just what synodality is about: collaboration. No organization is independent, no organization is just doing things without collaborating with others. So thank you very much for what you have shared and for all the good works that you are doing for us here in Zambia, for the church in Zambia, for the Zambian community, but also elsewhere. I don't know if we have any question regarding what has been shared by the Dicastery for promoting human integral development, Dicastery for communications, but also Hilton Foundation. If there is any question, our viewers, our journalists from other dioceses, I'm sure would have loved to ask a question, but because they are following online, you know how, so they are not able to ask. But probably one from the ones that are present could. Is there? Yes, please.
Sister Alessandra, you mentioned about working in line with climate change and all those things. I just want to find out how you're collaborating with the media, like the ones in Zambia, the Catholic media in Zambia, to ensure that we intensify the reporting on climate change in line with the Laudato Si.
So are you asking how we are collaborating on?
Yes,
As I was saying before, thank you for these questions. And as I was saying before, in our dicastery we work mainly with three sections: listening, research, and communication. And when we address some issue that arises from a local church, we organize some intersectional team. So in a listening session or in a research session, there will be always someone from our communication department, and in the ideal world, our department will be connected with your communicators. So we are building these networks. When the bishops come from the ad limina visit, we always ask for their contacts for communication locally, but it's a matter of building relationships. So today I'm happy to be here and to share this with you so that we can strengthen our collaboration, and for us it will be very important to share with you and to listen to you and to find the ways in which we can communicate, because there are lots of programs about Laudato Si. For example, as Dicastery we are endorsing the Laudato Si Action Platform, which is a platform aimed to connect people willing to put Laudato Si in practice. And so you are willing to say and to communicate, and we hope that this can be improved. And the fact that what I'm experiencing here during these days in this gathering, we have listened to 2 projects, but the room here is plenty of sisters, each one able to share another project and a practical project. And so we need to continue to be in touch, and to be in touch with you, because sometimes there is a lot of hidden work, and that it's better that it not remain hidden, so that we can create more connections, and perhaps if the news are shared, and the good news are shared, perhaps we can find someone else willing to engage. And as Dr. Paolo Ruffini was saying before, imagine how many Catholic journalists or communicators are around the world, and if we are in touch, we can do our part also for changing the narrative, for example, about migrations. And this is a task and a duty for us, because we feel that we are all brothers and sisters.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, please.
I also have another question actually.
For the Dicastery for Communications.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dicastery for Communications. And I will still stick to climate change. I think it's my area of interest so much. Yes, so you mentioned that actually communication is about action. Does the Dicastery also offer some sort of training to Catholic journalists to ensure that they report on these matters effectively?
Yes, of course. We on climate change, we have a section of our website in so many languages. As Natasha told before, we have almost 50 languages, and we have a landing page and a section on our website on Laudato Si to share stories where, as Sister Alessandra told before, Laudato Si is not just we talk about, but something we try little by little. We are human, we make mistakes, and we are on the way, but we try to make things concrete in our countries, and maybe that something that happens in Zambia can be interesting for other part or vice versa. I recently knew that there is a project on regenerative architecture that is taking place in Zambia, and that comes from an experience that was first established in Andhra Pradesh in India, and there are sisters that are going in India to see how does it work there, then to make it work here in Zambia, for example. But are so many the stories that we have to share. And concerning generally the system of communication of the Holy See is meant to connect what we do with what communicators, TV, radio, website, and so on are doing in the countries, in the churches. Maybe also a little parish can have a little system of communication with a newsletter that they can have embedded all we do in Rome. Any television like Lumen TV or radio like Radio Maria or any office of communication can have all we do in Rome to be used via agreement we can do. Any journalist can be accredited to the Holy See Press Office from wherever in the world, staying in his or her country, for example. So we're doing many things. But concerning the climate change and the care of our common home, I think we have to share stories that demonstrate that it is possible. It's possible to reverse the economic system we are living now. It's possible to reverse in climate change. It's possible to reverse in any other fields like. A more just economy, a world without wars, education for kids, and so on. We have to share stories and we have to work together. Thank you.
Okay. We have any more questions? Any burning issue? A lot has been shared, especially on the results of this collaboration. We heard from Sister Kayula. A lot has happened, and it is still happening as a result of the collaboration that she has, her office has with Hilton Foundation, but also the dicasteries from the Roman Curia.
May I add something?
Yes,
I just
please.
want to add something
Please,
because
please.
I forgot to say.
Please.
Since the question is coming from a young woman, we need the woman gates on the wall, and we need the sisterhood gates on communication. This is something we have to improve. This comes from education, from schools. This comes from formation of sister, and this is one of the reasons why we all are here. We use the word as empowerment. I think that communicating is a service. In the church we are all servants, but let us use the word empowerment. This is more care. We need woman empowerment and sisterhood empowerment in the church, and we need a sister empowerment and woman empowerment in the world of communication. Let me say as a male.
For me, I would like to thank the Dicastery of Communication for partnering with the sisters on the Pentecost project. When we look around at the media, the stories are heartbreaking and the stories are so negative sometimes. But when I listen to Catholic media, they are giving stories of hope, stories that are in the margins, that are not lifted up, stories that are helping not just evangelization, but stories that are showing possibilities. Whether it's about climate, what is this best we need to do? What is happening in one country that can be transferred to another country? Or one community or one village that can go to another village, or a diocese to another diocese. So in a way, we need these stories of hope, stories of encouragement, stories about the youth, stories about religious life, stories about, whether it's ordination, all these stories being told from the Catholic media, and also even partnering with other secular media to tell stories that are giving hope to the communities. Because when we only hear stories about war, stories about situations that are deplorable, people begin having mental illness because there is nothing they can see that is hope. So as journalists, as people who are working in the media, and the sisters I met when I visited the Pentecost project, there are stories that are giving life, stories that are seeing possibilities. When I listen to the sisters, the work they are working with Kayura on migration, there are stories that are giving hope, stories that are creating pathway for those that are experiencing challenges. So I think we need to hear this more and more, because it will help to build the communities that have hope, the communities that aspire to the best, the communities that experience, even though you're experiencing vulnerabilities and challenges, there is hope, and there is those who can accompany you to come out of your situation. Thank you.
Sorry, just an advice concerning what Natasha said about having the free subscription for Osservatore Romano. The Osservatore Romano, where these stories are narrated, and the monthly where they are narrated, is the newspaper that the Pope reads every day. So if any sister that is listening us wants to read at the same time the Pope does these stories that Sister Jane was telling about, and all is written in Osservatore Romano, they have just to let us know, and so this is a way of being connected and sharing stories.
I think the message is very clear, especially to our own Catholic media here in Zambia, to tell stories of hope. The secular media is telling stories of depression, if we want to call them that way. So like in the area of immigration, the secular media will talk about how many people have been incarcerated as a result of not having papers. But who's going to tell the story of how many people have been helped to be integrated into the community, how they have been helped to get back to their countries or to get papers and things like that, to get a skill. So the Catholic media, I think should take this message very seriously and strongly, that we need to tell that other story as well. A lot is happening, but if we are not on top of things to tell the story, secular media is not going to tell our own success stories. Thank you very much for this very wonderful press briefing, press conference. I'm sure all our listeners have learned one or two things from the great works that the Dicasteries are doing in collaboration with our local church, also in collaboration with Hilton Foundation. We've heard part of the testimonies from Sister Kayula, that there are a lot of many other success stories out there, and it is our duty as the media to tell that story so that we give hope to our world. From the ZCCB Communications Department, I would like to say thank you very much. This has been Father Arthur Ndembula reporting on behalf of the ZCCB Communications Department. And just to say thank you for having organized or expressed interest to have this press conference, which at some point I thought it would be very, very hard, difficult to hold. But we tried to put all our heads together, ideas and our pieces together, and we've ensured that this has come to pass, and it has been very, very fruitful. So thank you to the Dicastery for the promotion of human integral development, the Dicastery of Communications. I'm sure we are still meeting tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Jane, from the Hilton Foundation for all the great works that you are doing in collaboration with our sisters here in Zambia. Sister Kayula, thank you so much also for the great testimonies that you have given, and also contributions from Sister Christy. So thank you also to the Lumen TV crew that have made sure that we've had this press conference beamed on social media, but also on Lumen TV. Thank you, and may God bless us all. Maybe we can end with a short prayer, even though we didn't begin with a prayer, but we can still end with a short prayer as we continue to interact. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
We thank you, dear Lord, for the time that you gave us to come together in this manner and to share all these great ideas. We ask that you continue to bless us in our respective works of evangelization, that we may not tire, we may not feel discouraged in any way, but we may continue to do the work that you have given us in order to bring hope to our world. Glory be to the Father, the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Paulo. Thank you so much.